What's up guys, it's Oblivious Gamer here, and well, today's video might be a bit more charged than usually. I'm still debating on if this will end up being released or not. I guess it will depend on my mood and how I feel once I thought this through. But why am I making a video? Well, this is with regards to the engine Unity and the announcement that we got today. Basically, for those that don't know, Unity is an engine that a lot of indie developers use for their games. It's a very useful tool. Some amazing games have come from Unity, such as Cuphead, Rust, Subnautica, GTFO, Raft, Ultra Kill, Beat Saber. You get the gist. Basically, what's happening with Unity is Unity will start charging developers each time their game is installed. Unity announced a new fee structure today where basically they're introducing a Unity runtime fee that is based upon each time a qualifying game is downloaded by the end user. The exact fees will vary depending on the plan that the developer is using, with Unity Personal and Unity Plus subscribers will pay 20 cents per install after reaching $200,000 in revenue from the past 12 months and 200,000 lifetime installs. Meanwhile, after hitting 1 million in revenue in the last 12 months and 1 million lifetime installs, with Unity Pro members, fee starts at 15 cents per install, while Enterprise fee starts at basically 13 cents per install, 0.125 per install. Members using Unity Pro and Enterprise have tiered fee structure that will decrease their rates after reaching thresholds like 100,000, 500,000, and a million. So this is huge. This is a big deal. Like a lot of these indie games that, especially ones that have become very successful, could be in big peril because this is just going to be a huge financial sink for them, because if you're just charging them for somebody to install the game. Think about how many times you install a game. There's people who delete it and a couple months later install it. There's people who have multiple devices where they install their games. And literally some developers were not happy with this. Some even saying like, hey, if you guys want to bankrupt us, don't bother doing like Steam reviews. Like, don't bother doing like, you know how like people bomb Steam reviews to get like, try to get their message across? Don't even bother doing that. Just install and reinstall, install and reinstall, and you could probably bankrupt us a lot easier. Literally, developers were saying that. It's an insane change. At the same time, for example, services like Game Pass are in trouble because of this. This also applies to the Xbox Game Pass. So anytime some of these games are installed, they're going to still be charged. Piracy. Games that are pirated, they're still going to be charged because they still have to install the Unity runtime. Being free to play, doesn't matter. Giveaways, same thing. There's been a bit of an update because obviously the backlash and a lot of developers were angry. Unity regrouped and we're like, okay guys, we heard you. It will now only be initial installation of a game that triggers a fee. So now it's not going to be if you reinstall the game multiple times in your machine. And demos won't trigger the fee, mostly. There are some caveats. And devs are still not off the hook for Game Pass. So it means that if your game is on Game Pass and the game is downloaded multiple times, there's still going to be the fee. However, it has stated that the fee will not be paid by the developer, but by Microsoft. But again, that becomes a situation where why would Microsoft be putting Unity games when they're just going to be getting like nickel and dime? You know, there's this whole thing going on where will Microsoft even bother with Unity games? It puts at risk putting Unity games. And then another thing that it's still going to affect. So let's say you have a desktop and a gaming laptop. The developer will be charged for the installation once on your desktop. So that initial installation, that's when they're going to get charged a fee. So even if you delete it and reinstall it in your desktop, you're not going to get charged. However, if you for some reason decide to install in your gaming laptop and your desktop, that initial installation of the gaming laptop will still get them charged. So different devices will still get charged the initial installation fee. It's kind of insane. And then some people pointed out, well, what happened with Linux or virtual machines? Does that mean somebody can just do virtual machines and just keep installing the game to get those fees for developers that they hate? Like, there's this whole thing going on. And it's quite the shocker that they decided to do this. I do have some theories and the reason why I'm talking about this. I don't think Unity is going after the indie developer market. The indie developers, as a lot have stated throughout the day, this could hinder them very negatively. This could make them even consider not using Unity. They're not going after the indie market. They're going after this market. So, for those that don't know, a lot of MiHoYo games use Unity. Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Honkai Impact, and the upcoming Sandless Zone Zero, they all use Unity. Those are games that make a ton of money. And because they're mobile games, that means that like people change mobile phones super easily. Like some people change phones yearly. So that means like they will have to install on the new phone every time, which could trigger the fees. Another game that runs on Unity, Fate Grand Order. And that's the market who I think they're going after because they know they have a lot of money. Now, does that mean companies like MiHoYo and companies that make Fate Grand Order will take this? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be happy with this, despite them obviously having the money to pay. And I don't think they're going to be happy. And I think this will definitely be pushed back. I don't know how long. Because some of you guys might be saying, well, the devs are going to push back. Like, there's definitely going to change. There's no way, even with the new changes, that they're just going to take this and be like, okay, we're fine. But for those that don't know, the CEO of Unity is none other than John Riccitiello. John Riccitiello used to be the CEO of EA. He is famously known for being the guy who wanted to charge you $1 for every time you reloaded a gun in a game. Here, this is him literally in a meeting that was recorded.
And substantial portion of digital revenues are microtransactions. When you are 6 hours into playing Battlefield and you run out of ammo in your clip and we ask you for $1 to reload, you're really not very price sensitive at that point in time. And for what it's worth, the cogs on the clip really low. And so essentially what ends up happening, and the reason the play first, pay later model works so nicely, is the consumer gets engaged in a property. They might spend 10, 20, 30, 50 hours on the game. And then when they're deep into the game, they're well invested in it. We're not gouging, but we're charging. And at that point in time, the commitment can be pretty high. As a personal anecdote, I spent about $5,000 calendar year to date on doing just this type of thing on our products and others. I can readily attest to how well it works.
So yeah, this comeback right here is the one that is the CEO of Unity. At the same time, I just want to point this out. I'm not a big financial marketing guy, but an interesting thing is this guy has been offloading a lot of his shares. With him selling 2,000 shares of the company on September 6th, so not long ago. And he has been selling for the past year a lot of his shares, a total of 50,000 shares, and purchased none. So, I don't know, pretty interesting that, he decides to do this announcement, and for the past year he has been getting rid of his shares. Not much of a marketing guy here, but hey. So yeah, I genuinely think this comeback right here will probably not move unless there's a huge pushback, not even from indie, but from the big market that they're actually pushing, which is the mobile market. That's probably the big fish. My guess is that they're going. And this is my guess why they're doing this. Genshin Impact, Fate Grand Order, Honkai Star Rail, those are massively successful games that make a ton of money. And also easily could get this install fees being mobile games. People change their mobile phones very often compared to people changing a desktop or their gaming consoles. So, yeah, it sucks. I usually don't talk a lot about this. I don't tend to talk too much about the gaming market, but I feel this is something big and this is something that impacts some of the games that I cover or that I talk about. Honkai Star Rail. I don't play too much Genshin Impact, but yeah, Sandless Zone Zero, a game that I'm definitely looking forward to and wanted to do like impressions when the game comes out. Definitely impacts games that I will be covering on my channel, which is why I was like, well, I could try talking about this a bit. But I'm hoping the industry pushes back. We'll have to see how this thing changes and develops during the entire week and see what's up. So what are your thoughts, guys? This has been Oblivious Gamer, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day or night wherever you are.